being a kid, seeing everybody stand up and sit down and kneel and recite all these prayers together, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to remember all those prayers. I never had any idea of what was going on. And unfortunately, there was a time when my parents stopped taking us to church when I was in middle school, and I actually had to go down to a friend's house who had church in their basement. But even though I was there, I never left my Catholic faith. And it wasn't until I was in high school that there was actually something for me at the Catholic Church, which was the youth group, which included free pizza and also friends. And so it was a great opportunity for me to want to go back, and I wanted to learn more. And surprisingly, even growing up Catholic, I never knew what we believed about Jesus and being present in the Eucharist. But I went on retreat, and I was really excited to be able to go because I knew there'd be friends, there'd be food, there'd be games. But what I didn't expect was to encounter Jesus Christ. And I did in adoration without even knowing at the time. I just remember being convicted to the point of tears. And I was a big guy. You know, right now you might be able to see I'm pretty big. I was 6'5", I was a football player. I was 300 pounds. I'm in the back of this auditorium, and they bring Jesus out, and I don't know what it was, but my heart was convicted that I wanted to live for Jesus and that I needed to be doing more to get to know him and to love him. And it's not like there was a particular sin. It was just this desire to give my life over to God. And I know that night I did. But when I went to college, the rubber met the road. And I remember thinking college was the time I really wanted to be free. And that included free from things that Jesus probably didn't want me doing. And I lived very much a double life. And I always remember going every Sunday being just convicted that I need to change. But I wasn't ready to make it until there was one night when I actually ended up drinking so much I didn't even remember what happened the night before. And it wasn't until a friend showed me pictures that I said, like, this isn't me. And I'm so tired of this. I actually moved out of living those fraternity guys that year. And I ended up living with a roommate who was the president of the college Catholic campus ministry on my campus. And together, you know, we weren't perfect, but we led a life that wanted to put Jesus first. And we continued to challenge each other. And that community was very important to me, especially in college. And surprisingly, even beyond that, because even after that, I became a missionary and then a seminarian with the Catholic faith. In seminary, that was a great time of formation for me. But when I discerned out, there was also another big moment when I was trying to figure out who I was to the world if I was no longer going to be a priest of Jesus. And I found a girl that was willing to, you know, love me for where I was at. And I was so vulnerable with her that I felt like it was actually turned into a very unhealthy relationship. It was that exact same thing with the fraternity guys of I was living a very much like this double life. And this is after I had received so much from Jesus and so much from the church. You know, something had to give. It was either going to be my relationship with Christ or it was going to be that relationship with that girl. And it ended up being that I decided to reconvert, you know, re-give my life over to Jesus. And I asked him what that really looked like. And I found myself, you know, leaning back, serving him full-time in ministry. And it eventually led me into serving at a parish and now working with St. Paul's. And I'm just so grateful for not just Christ encountering me, letting me know who he is, that he loved me back in high school, but for moments when I was at a deep loss of wanting to find love or find friends, and Jesus continuing to say, like, no, come back to me. He's my Savior. You know, that's what when you hear about, like, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, I mean, when you talk about being saved, you talk about being able to find someone who comes to share with me who I am. You know, I'm his son, and he saved me from trying to figure out and allow other people to tell me who I am. And so he also saved me from, you know, this broken relationship I had with the Father, due to the original sin. I mean, he brought me into a relationship with him, reconciled me to his Father, and I just pray that I may, you know, continue to be on this pilgrimage and, God willing, be with him for eternity.